Today on iTalk Movies, I talked to Kirsten Vangsness, the star and executive producer of the comedy film noir Kill Me Deadly. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's iTalk Movies.
Oh, so good. I love this theme song.
Gun. Running.
Dun, dun,
Bad guy. Running.
Welcome,
Gun.
everybody.
Running. FBI. Running.
That's awesome.
That's me acting out the beginning
Amazing
of the
lyrics
thing.
to that theme song.
Name. Running. Computer.
Done. I love it. I love it.
Crime.
Welcome, everybody, to Popcorn Talk, I Talk Movies. Today, I talked to Kirsten Vangsness for Kill Me Deadly, the fun comedy film noir. Kirsten, hello. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. And I feel like I should have awards that I keep with me, and you would be the first one to get the "you said my name right" without even ever asking me.
Girl.
That is a magical feat.
I love you. I love Criminal Minds. Let's just get that out of the way.
Well, thank you. But there's a lot of people who love the show, but they don't love it so much that they know how to say my name, and that's really sweet.
I made sure I said your name. And speaking of names, I'm Marisa Serafini, your host. You can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV, and everyone can follow you at Vangsness.
At Vangsness, yeah. VANGSNESS.
Yeah. A lot of my coworkers couldn't spell your name correctly. I was like, no, I got this. Don't worry. Don't worry. But thank you so much for coming in. Kill Me Deadly, comedy film noir.
Kill Me Deadly.
This actually started as a film play at the Theater of Note, which you are a member.
Yes, I am a member of a theater company. I wish I had 5,000 of these.
That's
and
awesome.
I could make a little pyramid.
So for the iTunes listeners, you have a little poster.
I've brought postcards, and I'm trying to make like a house of cards with 3 of them around my water cup. It is like a flower arrangement, but with paper. Yes. You asked me a question. Yes, I am a member of a theater company in Hollywood called Theater of Note. We're on Sunset and Cahuenga by Amoeba Records if you're a Los Angeles person. I've been a member there for probably 20 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it is my artistic home. It has some of the most talented actors that I've ever worked with there. And yeah, this was originally, I auditioned for this play when it was a 5-minute late night show that we were doing at 11:30 at night, and for very small houses because it's a 48-seat house. Mm-hmm. And then the writer, and this was before Criminal Minds, and then the writer made it into a full length. And by the time it was a full length, I had fancy day job. And I was doing both. And I had to have an understudy because sometimes I wasn't there and all that because of fancy day job.
Theater.
And then we finished it. And then I always had this dream of, I kind of feel like I broke through the glass ceiling of into fancy Hollywood, and but there is this whole thriving community of artists in Hollywood and Los Angeles that nobody knows about, and they're incredibly talented, and some of them don't have their SAG cards, some of them don't have their equity cards, but they're very talented, and honestly, they don't have life. You have to pay your rent and all that, so they have 3 day jobs, and then at night they do theater. And I wanted a way to merge my artistic home and all of this talent that I knew and Hollywood land. And so I got together with a group of people at Theater of Note, and we said, why don't we make a movie? So it took a while. We did it all ourselves. There was no how do I explain this? There was no nepotism involved. I never went to Criminal Minds and said, hey, I'm going to do a movie. I need our DP to come and watch us do this. No, we did all of it ourselves. So it's a
labor of love.
Yeah, it's a very theater aesthetic. We paid everybody a living wage. We spent all of our money on locations, costumes, and to make sure it was a union film across the board, which is very expensive to do. But the payoff is we got a lot of people that were in the original play that became union, that got their SAG cards from our movie.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And we have people that were in the crew that are now working in Hollywood as in the hair departments, in prop departments, different TV shows, which to me is that's my dream. And it feels so good because it's ours. We might not make a ton of money on it, but we might, I don't know. But it's a labor of love. It's beautiful. It's our art baby, and we love it so much, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. We had originally done it as a short, and even as the short, I had asked, Shamar Moore is in the one scene.
Yeah, I noticed
Shamar
him.
Moore is in one scene in it, and And I remember calling him and being like, can you come down? This is before we knew we were going to shoot the whole thing. So we made it as a short first. And I said, can you come? Will you do this one little part in this thing for me? And he said, yeah. And we got his measurements. We got a tuxedo. I was like, all you got to do is show up. And we're going to throw this thing on you and you're going to do it. And he thought, bless his heart, Shamar thought that I was calling him and saying, will you do a night of a play? He didn't know it was a short film. So he shows up and he's like, where's the audience? And I'm like, what do you mean? Because we're at a bar shooting thing. What are you talking about? Well, where's the audience? It's not a play. It's a movie. And all right. And so we shot this thing, and he plays the piano player in it. And then when we showed the short, I showed the short to everybody at work. And Joe Mantegna came up to me at the end of the thing and said, I will sign a letter of intent. A letter of intent is a thing that you sign to guarantee that you're going to do a movie.
Okay.
He came up and he said, I'll sign a letter of intent to be in this movie in blood. And I was like, okay. And then Paget Brewster came up to me when we were in the middle of shooting and said, can I be a background person in it? And you serious? Yeah, I want to be background in it.
That's amazing.
Did you see her in it?
No, and that's the funny thing, because I'm a big fan of everyone on Criminal Minds.
I know. Do you like how I just launched into this, Marissa? I didn't mean to.
No, it's fantastic. Okay. Just keep going. This is fantastic. I love it so much. Because I noticed that she was a background, and I watched this movie 3 times, and I'm just trying to find her, and I was like, it has to be in some public venue.
Okay, the part where do you know where it is?
No, okay. I couldn't find her. I was like, I'm blind.
Now that you know, you can't miss her.
Okay, shoot.
It's you know the scene with the car? I don't want to give it away because this is a fun scene.
Yes, for those.
But you know, there's a scene with a car, and there has been a murder, and the camera pans around, and a beautiful woman stands up, the photographer, and snaps a picture, puts the camera down. You see her full face for about 2 seconds, and then she pops back down. That's Paget.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, okay. Now you got to go back and look at it again. I'm going to go back
and watch it and point out everybody. Yeah. I love this because you started filming this, and you threw in your own money and whatnot, labor of love, and
Absolutely,
then you kind of ran out because you were paying everybody.
We literally went. I mean, it's a low budget film, but it was over $1 million.
1.6. Yep. So you said.
And I think it's around there. And sometimes it's weird. Hollywood is weird, and I don't totally understand it yet. And I might find out later, like, why you're never supposed to stay, how much money you spend on a thing. Because I'm not trying to brag or not brag. That's just how much it costs to pay people and to do a movie. You know, a lot of times people shoot, at Criminal Minds, the pilot of Criminal Minds was shot in Canada. Yep. They shoot things out of the country because they're cheaper, because, you can get things, all kinds of things you can lowbrow. And don't get me wrong, I love a sale. I love a good sale. I'm wearing a bed jacket I got on clearance at Victoria's Secret. So I love it.
No way.
Oh, yes. I love a sale. Do not get me wrong. For like $3.
It's adorable on you.
Thank you. So, like, I get it. However, we live in a world where actors and people who have dream jobs, people have to do their dream jobs so often for free. And when I have the opportunity, when I have a life where I get to do my dream job and get paid for it, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't line up in my brain. When I have good actors, it's my privilege to work with them just as much as it's their privilege, I hope, to work with me. It's not like, oh, they should be happy. No. You get to act with people that are cool and awesome and no one's ever seen. That is an honor, and that you get to be part of that, and now people get to know about them because there's unbelievable performances in this place. So this movie. So I went to my business manager and I would say, how much money can I take out and still like pay my, all the things you have to, and then you take it out. I mean, it's a total champagne problem, but like I say, like some people's addictions are blow and like fancy cars.
Like unhealthy addiction, but yours is like creativity.
I drive a Prius. And I don't do blow. So
you drive Priuses here too. I drove a Prius for 2.5 years.
I do enjoy my Prius.
No way, that's awesome.
I do enjoy her. She's fantastic.
It's a her. Love it.
Her name is Peebo Garfunkel, but yeah,
that's a cool name.
She's named after Peebo Bryson and Garfunkel and Simon and Garfunkel.
That's brilliant.
My love of R&B and folk music merging together.
See, I have a Ford Fiesta and I name him Nacho.
That's good.
So Nacho Fiesta.
Yes.
I kid you not.
I like that. I like
that's
that.
Awesome.
That's good.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, so I would take out the money. I would say, need this money. And then he'd be like, that's enough. You can't take out anymore. And then we'd go shoot. And then we ran out of money and go back. And we'd wait. So that's why it took 4.5 years to film. And then when we were in post, we realized I was at a point where I couldn't right then, because we were on hiatus or what, I don't know, right then get that chunk of change. And we thought, well, why don't we do a Kickstarter? Because we knew so many people that wanted to participate and be able to, put their little finger on the movie and say, I was part of this.
Yes.
And I gave $10, I gave $50, and whatever. And so we did a
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
That in 2013?
Yeah,
the summer
I think
2013?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we raised, we made our Kickstarter goal
200,000.
250,000, I think it was. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah. And I think I could be wrong. I'm terrible with the numbers. And then
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
So
we're
then,
the creative people.
Yes, exactly. Oh, so we did that, and then and then we finished it, and it's incredibly complicated, I think, to make a movie anyway. But to decide to make a movie and say, we're going to learn about this together and do it our way, and we had certain things that we weren't willing to compromise on. And one of them was, this is a movie because it's got such a theater aesthetic. It's really wacky. I always describe it as like the Maltese Falcon and Airplane and Rocky Horror Picture Show had a baby. Because there's something,
yes,
right?
I
Do you feel
love
that? There's
totally
something
love that.
very participatory about the movie. It is meant to be watched with other people. It's funnier when you watch it more than once, and it's funnier when you watch it with other people, because you see things when somebody else sees something that you don't see, and then they'll be giggling. Somebody who's a great lover of film noir will notice things in the movie shot by shot that we did as an homage to certain movies that Darrett Sanders, the
lighting,
the director, did. Yeah. And that William Robins, who wrote it, wrote things that are very homage-y to certain things. So you see that, and that brings that person delight. Other goofy little moments where, like, someone is wearing one thing, and then you flash away, and then you look again, and they're wearing a completely different outfit. These little moments that no one is pressing on, that kind of make the movie, but it's meant to be watched in a room full of people. So we insisted, when we were getting a distributor and all of that, that it would be out in a movie theater. Even if that was, like, a lot of people don't do that. They go right to, no, this is a movie that if you can see it on the silver screen with a room full of people, it's meant to be seen that way. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And because it started on a play and then it's been translated to the silver screen, do you notice people are laughing at certain points that hit bigger, like jokes hit bigger at certain points in the film than they did on play?
Different. I think different audiences are different, because, like, when we did, we were just in Paris. We were the final film of the Film Noir Festival, Film Noir Festival in Paris, France, and it was a beautiful, exquisitely bittersweet trip, because it was right after the bombings had happened.
Oh my
so
goodness.
It was right during Thanksgiving, and it was a beautiful moment of, when you watch people go through such horrible things, and then
kind of like bittersweet.
and then make alchemy be so full of goodness and good-heartedness in spite of all of this fear and uncertainty around them. It's amazing. And so we went to that, and what was funny is there's a couple of jokes about there's a British actor, there's a British guy played by Time Winters in the movie, and he's fantastic, and he's British, and so there's these British jokes in it that you can kind of giggle on. I've heard people giggle, but we had this subtitled movie that we're watching in France with the French subtitles, and the audience would lose their minds at the British jokes way more than they do here. And then, depending upon the age, younger kids tend to, because it's basically a rated G movie. There's nothing in it that
there's nothing terrible.
The language is very elevated. I mean, there's a lot of language, so I wouldn't bring a 4-year-old unless they're like got a Mensa IQ, or you just really don't like that 4-year-old and you want to frustrate them. I would say that anybody could go see it. So like younger people, like kids, tend to giggle more at the slapsticky stuff. Like there's something in it for everybody, but you get a different flavor with every audience. Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of physical humor in this too. The whole, all that slapping.
Yeah,
I lost track of how many slaps.
There's a lot of slapping,
film.
and also there's it's surprisingly, because it's theater. Because it was at first a play, and theater is so. I mean, some people think it's a very archaic medium, but it's actually so arty and complex that it manages. One of my favorite things about the movie is that it manages to be both really, in some points, you just want to laugh out loud. And in other points, it's touching. It's like, oh, it hits you. I can think of two moments in particular. The fight between Charlie Nichols, because it's about a gumshoe detective named Charlie Nichols, who's going through the streets of Los Angeles in the 40s.
Dean Lamont.
Played by the amazing, Dean Lamont, who I have. And the great thing is that all of us, the group of us, the core group of us, we've known each other and done theater with each other. I've painted sets with these people at 3 a.m. So to act with them, and so we have a degree of trust, and it would be a no-brainer. 11 pages, one take, no problem. Like.
Really?
No problem. That's what we would do. Yeah.
What?
Oh, easy. That last scene.
But I think theater, that's such a muscle.
It's not a big deal. And so we were so tight knit in this. But he plays this detective in the 40s, and it does take place in the 40s, and it's all black and white. And the costumes are incredible. Our costume designer, Kimberly Freed, is it's amazing just to see the hats and the things that you got to wear in the 40s and the amount,
your hair, the wig.
God. And what's fascinating, because it took so long to shoot, I actually go through I think 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds. Somewhere in the movie, I had just gotten done doing a play where I had to gain a lot of weight when we first started shooting. No, mess I can be any size. That's the thing I wrote. It was a play called Fat Pig, and it took me a long time to lose this weight that I had put on. So I still wasn't done losing it, and I had dyed my hair red. So the first scene we ever shot was the Tony's Liquor Lounge, where you hear the song and all of that. Well, we didn't know what we were doing. Well, I can hear my other producers in my head in somewhere. They're not in my head actually, but I can hear them talking, going, "Kirsten, we knew what you were doing. We did, but at the same time, we were being very experimental." So,
creativity.
Yeah. So I remember I was wearing this gown in it, and in the middle of one of the takes, the gown tore, and we had to keep shooting. So you can see that the gown has this weird gathering thing that's happening. Then my hair was actually dyed red. And then we went back, and when we had to go back and shoot things, my hair was no longer red. So then it's wigged. So half the time it's wigged, half the time it's actually my hair, half the time I'm literally 30 pounds lighter or heavier, depending.
Inconsistent.
And you kind of can't tell. Like, you kind of let it go because you actually believe, I mean, even I do, that you're watching a movie from the 40s. It looks like a movie from the 40s. I mean,
it's beautiful. I think it's so brilliant how it's shot, and even the dialogue and the way everyone speaks and whatnot, it sounds like straight from the 40s.
Yeah.
And I think it's so well done.
Thank you.
And speaking of, voices and whatnot, like your character, Mona Livingston, she has a very distinct, unique voice.
She does.
How did you go about finding that type of voice for her?
She had that voice. I've had that voice because, like I said, we did it as a late night. And I remember auditioning. I remember auditioning at this place on Wilcox and Fountain. That's where we were having the auditions. And this tiny little room. And I was listening to all the other girls that were auditioning for the part. And I was kind of going for this, like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz sort of voice.
Okay.
But I was listening to what the other girls were doing. And I was like, oh, they're doing. And I don't know if everybody does this at an audition. But if I hear things that other people are doing, it will, it can, your little ego, it'll shake you a tiny bit. And, your brain will go, is that a good choice? Wait, is my choice okay? So I think I was trying to do a hybrid of like what I heard somebody else doing, like, maybe that's a good idea. And then you have that moment where you're like, where your creative artist is like inside of you says, no, you have to come up with your own thing. Let them have their thing and you do your thing. So I was sort of having this fight with myself, and I'm in my, you go away in your car and you're kind of running.
That's the worst fight you could possibly have.
Oh, I have it every day.
Internal struggles.
You have. I mean, that's the joy of being a maker of things. No matter what you're making, you have these fights with yourself.
I hear you. Yeah. So, I hear you.
So I was sitting in my car because I wasn't due to read yet. I had a little bit of time, so I went to my favorite rehearsal space, my car, and I was kind of like talking it out, and I was getting really frustrated, and then I got this sort of bloodlust voice that I haven't done her in a while. Let me see if I can. Mona Livingston is sort of like Dorothy, but she's got a little bit of not a rage problem. People do think that she has a rage problem, but I can't help it if everybody else is just stupid.
My God, that's amazing.
It's like half. I don't know what it is, but it's like I get her, and then you just think of like, I don't know, like lightning storms in your mind, and then the voice comes out. It's like Dorothy, but grown up, and like she moved in with the lion, and they had a bad breakup because he caught her hanging out with some of those winged monkeys.
That's hysterical. Thank you so much for doing that voice, because it was just, I loved listening to your character.
I love her.
So awesome, because
she was so much fun.
She was vulnerable at some moments, and then she was strong and funny at other moments.
And that's how it was written, and that's the beauty of how this movie is written. That there are actually moments where you're like, oh God, I'm having a feeling right now I wasn't expecting.
She's human.
Yeah, and you have and it is a little weird. It's not a normal kind of movie. Which I kind of love about it, but it's a little weird. It's
unconventional a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
But in a fun, creative, good way.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's seen a movie like this. I encourage you to.
Oh, for sure. Because I think what's great about this film, because it looks like a film noir, but the humor, it's still so modern that if you watch it now, it's kind of timeless.
Yeah, the speed of the comedy is very current.
Yes.
The language is very old, but the actual speed of it, because if you actually look even at a movie from the 70s or the 80s, and you watch someone, even just what we call an insert shot, like on Criminal Minds, we'll do an insert shot where you'll see, like, I don't know, the decapitated head of the thing and the guy, whatever. So, they'll do the insert shot, and it's like, boom, it's like a second. And in old movies, when they do an insert shot, they would linger. And that's how those old movies would be. They would be more lingering. And we do actually have moments. I'm trying to think, the one where Charlie Nichols goes into the flop house near the end with the guy with all the ducks.
Yeah.
That's one of the parts of the movies that's very old-timey and 40s. And every time I see that part, the little internal, I like to think I'm every age that's ever been invented. So like I am both a child of the 80s and a millennial at the same time. So the little millennial in me will start being like, hurry up. Why does it take so long? Come on. But that's the nature of how those movies were. So it has these like kind of lingery, beautiful parts, but then when it gets to the actual comedy of things, it really moves along and
it speaks to a lot of demographics too, which is very, very smart.
Yeah, and we didn't. That was just an accident. I think that's just the nature of like a good theatrical piece. The writing is fantastic. The people in it, Nicholas Williams, who plays Clive Claremont, is just a genius that no one's ever seen. Lynn O'Dell,
peanut butter.
Yeah, Lynn O'Dell, who plays the secretary Ida.
I loved Ida. Let's talk about Ida for a little bit.
Ida.
Like I loved how she was so smarter than like probably everybody.
And she's everywhere.
She is, and it's so funny. Like she's sleuthing around,
and that is one of the things we didn't have that in the play, and that's one of the things that you can do in a movie, right?
Yeah.
A movie, and I'm learning this even as I get more used to television writing and film writing, that I write plays too. Plays are much more about the language, and film is much more, you can tell a story with visually, in a different way. So that was a great idea that the director, Derek Sanders, who also plays, he plays Louis in it, the big thug.
Oh.
He directed it too.
All right.
And
yes.
He's fantastic.
This is his film debut.
This is his
directorial.
He directed another movie that Bill Robbins wrote that I have a tiny little part in called Scream of the Bikini.
Okay.
Which is another B movie, like kind of a thing. And it's the same, William Robbins, the guy who wrote this.
Yes.
He is an expert at writing these spoofs of a genre. So that one, the Scream of the Bikini was like a 60s
spy, right?
Yeah, and then we just did a show at Theater of Note that he wrote that I was in and Darrett was in. It's a very family affair.
Oh, yes.
Called Rio Hondo, which was a spoof of a Western. And it was a very serious Western, and at the same time, I played a blind gunslinger. So it was like this whole...
That's hysterical.
Yeah, and he can write these things. He's so good at them. So a lot of the characters are just, Leslie Ann Down
she's brilliant. I mean,
she's amazing.
Bold and beautiful. And she just has an amazing career. And so for you to work with so many well experienced actors,
mm-hmm.
How does that translate to when you were actually filming? From the play, you guys know each other, but from filming, did that really change the aspect?
What we did, because sometimes in plays we had double cast some of the parts.
Okay.
So we had the guy Keith Allen, who is the lead on Z Nation. If anybody watches that, he's one of the detectives two of the cops there's Joe Roche and Keith Allen. They're the two cops that keep coming in.
Keep, like,
he's the tall,
harassing
handsome one. Yeah. So he, but both of them are handsome. And so he he played Bugsy Siegel and that part in the play.
Okay.
So when we were doing the movie, we were like, oh, now we have a place to put Joe Mantegna, and so Joe Mantegna plays Bugsy Siegel in a.
I loved Joe Mantegna's part because, you know, Bugsy Siegel's a real person too, but I think Joe has like the perfect voice to play a mobster.
Yeah.
Not just because he's Italian, but I think
he's the quintessential.
made for him.
Yeah, he's the quintessential mobster. And what's interesting about this, I'm probably going to tell the story a little wrong. The one part I know I'm going to tell right, which is Bugsy Siegel was supposed to be this sort of clean-cut kind of dude. Joe, when he's not doing Criminal Minds, does a show called Gun Stories. And for Gun Stories, they want him a little like, I'm out in the woods or whatever.
Scruffy.
So he's a little scruffy. So he was in the middle of shooting Gun Stories, and he shows up to the set, and he's like, I have to keep this because So we had to change our idea of Bugsy based on, and it wasn't the day of, he had conversations with William Robins, and he was like, they were like, okay, so what they did is they chose to make Bugsy Siegel like more of a loose cannon, which is wonderful because Joe tells this story about how when he was doing, oh gosh, it was Bugsy. It was the movie. No, it wasn't the movie Bugsy. There was a mobster movie he was doing in like the early 80s, late 70s, and I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
But he was asked to play Bugsy Siegel. And he said, I know how I want to play him. I want to play him like a loose cannon, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, we want it like this. And he actually didn't do the movie. He didn't do the part in the movie because it wasn't the way he wanted to play Bugsy Siegel. So what's cool is, and that was like a regular serious movie. What's cool is he got to do his version of Bugsy Siegel in
your movie.
And that's exactly what he wanted to do. And he does the wackiest things. I mean, it's just the drink making. I think that was partially his idea. And
Vegas.
Oh my God, the Vegas, that sign, like
the sign.
All of that. And what was it, he's like the greatest man in the world. And one of the things that was so heart touching is the day we shot his stuff, we shot it in one day. We wanted to make it like, okay, we want to make sure that we're a professional situation. We got to, okay. I wasn't using a trailer because like, I didn't want to spend the money on me having a trailer, but we're like, Joe has to have a trailer. So get Joe a trailer. Okay, we got the trailer, we got this. And we're trying to make, okay, we're professional. So he gets there, and the day that we're shooting is the day that his dear friend Peter Falk died.
Oh, no.
And they were very close. And he shows up, and I didn't know that until the middle of the day. He shows up, and he is on set. He goes and gets his makeup done. He goes on set. And, you know, when you shoot a thing, you shoot something, and then you go away, and you have to wait for a long time. It's like a hurry up and wait thing. So you wait, and then you go back. So every day, he never went to his trailer. He sat on set the entire day, talking with everybody. Anybody who was excited and would take a picture with him, he'd do it, looking at things, just actively participating. And I kept being like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's like, you have to stop asking me. I'm perfectly fine. I was like, we have a trailer for you. He's like, I just want to be here. And then he actually said in the middle of the day, like, this happened today, and I'm really sad, but this is the best place I could be right now. And it was so dear to me that sometimes I think it's hard when it's your baby and you're trying and you don't really know everything about it and you feel vulnerable. And I think all of us, while we were making this movie, felt very vulnerable. It's hard when you feel vulnerable to give something value because you don't know if someone's going to say it's
amazing.
Kind of less than what they're used to or whatever. So you kind of, sometimes my instinct is kind of like, I know, I'm just very grateful you're here. So to have him, and you have to keep rising above that, right? You have to keep being like, no, my thing has value. So to have him sort of treat it with such value was so generous, spirited, and just how he is. Anyway, and I have
That's
a million,
such a great
stories about the whole thing. Doing, this whole thing was just nothing but an act of love.
That's amazing. Can we talk a little bit about the music, because you sang Rainbow Dream.
I sang it in the actual play too.
And you're a mezzo soprano.
So you said, and they did it in exactly, because I did, like I said, this is a very family affair. Bill Robins wrote this play called A Mulholland Christmas Carol, which we've done like 10 times at Theater of Note. It is like if William Mulholland and it's like if Chinatown and A Christmas Carol had a baby. So it's about the history of Los Angeles. Yeah, it's the history of Los Angeles water done to like the Christmas story. It's crazy. So I had done a lot of singing, and all the music from that was written by a guy named Bill Newland and Bill Robins.
And Bill Newland
composed all the music, and he did
Capitol
it.
Records, right?
Yeah, we got permission from the people at Capitol Records, and they were like honored to let us record there because they loved the music so much. He was so brilliant. He got all of the sheet music for like I think it's The Big Sleep, and I believe something else.
Oh, The Big Sleep is great.
Painstakingly, like, because he knows how to look at music like that, and kind of looked at thematically like, okay, what is this? And made our own score. But it's not The Big Sleep, it's our score. So it's new original music, but it's 1940s film noir all the way. And besides this completely ridiculous torch song called Rainbow Dream that is so in my range that I could sing it if I had a cold and I was wasted on so much bourbon. Like, I could sing it anywhere because it's exactly...
I kid you not. The first time I watched this movie, because I watched this movie several times, but the first time I watched it and your performance of this, I was dying laughing. Like, what is this ridiculous?
It comes out of
the
nowhere.
The lyrics are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, whoever...
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bill is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Dream about a rainbow.
And I love your physical. You're like,
you have to act it out. A bright, enchanted rainbow.
So, did you like pre-record that, or was that sung live?
No, I had to sing it there because at the time we were doing it. I can't remember why I had to sing it. I did sing it a bunch of times while we were there shooting, and then we went back, and then I recorded it. But I think I recorded it for the Kickstarter thing. I can't remember. It's a blur. But I know there was recording involved, and then there was live singing there involved.
And somehow you sung the song.
Yeah, and the whole time, since we had already done it as a play, I think all of us the whole time were kind of feeling like we were just doing the play again. So it's kind of like you can't remember. Like, it's confusing, which is hilarious when you're shooting a movie because you keep trying to, like, turn out to the audience, and you remember, like, oh, yeah, I don't have to do that.
There's no one's there.
There's no one there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love the song. That needs to be available on iTunes because I was looking for it.
I can't remember.
But that was part of your Kickstarter reward system.
If you're a Kickstarter person, then you definitely got it, and that might be the only way you can get it right now. I think that my hope is that the movie runs in movie theaters for a good long time before it is on like video on demand and iTunes. And then my guess would be that then it would eventually, I'm making this up right now, you guys, I have no idea. My guess would be then it would fly into iTunes on the iTunes Winged Monkeys. And second reference to Winged Monkeys in my life. Today I've made on this show. And then you can get it. Yeah, timestamp.
And this video or this film is opening up to.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it opens today.
Today, April 1st, 2016. Putting timestamp on this.
Yes.
Interview at the. Oh my goodness! We talked about this before.
It's either the Araya, or the
Aria,
or the Aria. And either way you can say it. It's AHRYA. You can say it however you want to, as long as you go. Fine Arts, it's 8556 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And you can get tickets if you go to lemley.com, which I will spell for you because I always spell it wrong. It is spelled LAEMMLE.com. And that's where you can get tickets. Please get tickets.
See, my friends, my co-hosts, we were talking because you were also on our creators, Kevin Undergaro's Tomorrow Show, and you met like Lauren and Roxy there.
12 hours.
We want to go see that movie.
I'm so happy.
I've seen this so many times. I want to see it again.
You're the best.
It's going to be awesome.
You're the best, and I bet it's going to be different to see on a big screen. And it's important.
Experience.
It's important to see these kind of movies. It's a love letter to Los Angeles, filmed in Los Angeles, and I don't know of a lot of movies that's happening right now, and with not like big gigantic names everywhere. And Paul F. Tompkins is in this.
I mean, and you also do the Thrilling Adventure Hour with Pageant and Paul.
Yes, that's right.
I actually, short quick story.
Yeah.
The live performance that was in March of 2015, that was the last show. I was there.
Were you really?
I was in that theater, and I saw you and
lines.
Pageant and Paul.
I did. They just had a show last night
third
too.
row. You probably did not see me. But
I think I did.
Nah.
I'm gonna say I did.
No, I was in that theater, so
that's awesome.
This is the second time I've seen
you. So we sort of met.
Kind of.
All right.
We've been in the same room at least once.
Mm-hmm. So. I felt it.
Thanks. I'm so excited for this film. Everyone should go see it really, really quickly before we leave.
Oh, yes.
Criminal Minds.
Oh, yeah. There's
my
that
goodness.
TV show.
I'm obsessed with the show. Two, it's kind of sickening how obsessed I am with the show.
A lot of people are. I'm delighted because I love my job. I sometimes worry about everybody that's obsessed with it because it's a violent
we're crazy.
show. So I worry about it, but I'm delighted
It's
that
so
you are because
smart,
it's
though.
so fun to shoot and to be in. So the fact that people love watching it is delightful. Yeah, it's great.
And you helped co-wrote a couple episodes.
I co-wrote the
Spell Scenario
episode
and A Beautiful Disaster.
Yes,
this
I
season.
co-wrote the episode last year. This is gonna be, spoiler alert, if you're behind from last year, plug your ears.
Yeah.
But I wrote the episode last year that where we killed Jason Gideon's character. And then this year, excuse me, I wrote the episode where one of our own leaves, and I'm not going to say who, because I watch.
Yeah.
Like I still am not complete. I'm like 2 seasons behind on Doctor Who, and I don't want to. I'm behind on Scandal. I'm behind on so many things, and I don't want to know about it. So I'm assuming everybody's as behind as me. So I don't want to tell them. But I co-wrote this very pivotal episode of our show this year.
And yes, so not to spoil it for people who are behind, but why would you be? I watched that episode and I was ugly crying,
Were you?
bawling. Thank God I was by myself.
Yeah.
But it was just like
Yeah.
a beloved character.
It was sad. It was sad, and what we needed to do.
I can't imagine what that felt like.
We needed,
for you.
we needed to do two things. And when I co-wrote it with Erica Messer, the executive producer on our show,
Brilliant.
who I'm dear friends with. And the way you do it is the way we do it is like I write 2 acts, she writes 2 acts, and then we kind of swap.
Yeah.
And we keep like messing with it, and then it kind of becomes what it does. And honestly, she's way better at I'm too long-winded, and she's good at like making things shorter, and I'm terrible with like ends of scenes, and she's really good at that. So we like mushed it all together and wrote this, but it was very important to have a departure be very make it very clear that it was the character's own doing because of the actor's own doing, and that's what he wanted. And we didn't want a situation where people felt like oh, they're pulling them out without, that kind of a thing. And we also wanted a proper goodbye. So we had a really long 4th act to make it.
It's like a 3-episode arc, more so, for a goodbye.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
Thank you.
It really took its time.
It was a real labor of I was quite happy with it.
I was ugly crying.
Oh.
Ugly crying.
Thank you. And hopefully I get to do it again next year. I'm hoping.
So now that you have a few episodes under your belt in writing, do you think that'll open up the door for more?
It already has. I've written some other stuff, and I'm I definitely I will write and perform things that I write, whether I get paid for it or not. I tend to do that. I definitely have things that I'm gonna make and put out this year for sure that aren't like completely done. That I think I'm gonna have my hands more on because they're more of my weirder ilk and less of the traditional ilk. But it's nice that I have free time to do that. But yeah, it's helped me.
How do you have free time from
I work,
co-executive producing, starring, releasing this movie, starring Criminal Minds?
I know.
You need a clone of yourself.
But I do okay because when you think about it, I am the only character on Criminal Minds that doesn't often go out on the field. So a lot of times I shoot my stuff in like 2 days.
Okay.
I feel I think I feel a lot of guilt about it. So I can't just sit at home.
No, you shouldn't. You are very vital to the BAU team. You get all the information that we couldn't.
I do a lot of fake typing. Maybe this year I'll get a new keyboard.
But typing's awesome, and I don't care if people say you can't type with the pen. Girl, you can. You can multitask.
I can't, and I can't type. So I encourage everyone to, if you want to keep up the illusion, just keep your eyes up. Never look down at her hands because that is a hellscape. And but if
so smart.
if you want, she is smart. I'll give you that. But
Penelope is awesome.
Oh, I love her. I love her as much as everybody. I borrowed her
I love you. You're amazing.
Thank you. I borrowed her glasses today. We can't tell her. I don't usually wear her glasses, but I wore glasses. I bought the glasses for her, to be clear.
There you go.
But they're not my glasses. They're hers.
Okay. Well, I love Criminal Minds. And so much to the point, like, I would literally die to be a victim, murder number 1 on Criminal Minds. And actually, because we were talking before this interview, I was part of, I went to film school, and one of our projects is, so we have it queued up here. But my teacher, he gave us a project that we had to do a 30-second film. It had to be film noir style, and there had to be 1 death in it.
What?
Guess who got to die? Yeah, it was me. Yours truly.
You can see it?
So this is going to be, I'm going to show you this, and this will be my audition. Let me know what you think.
Okay, I'm ready.
can
ready.
play a
I'm ready.
believable dead person.
I am ready
All right,
for you.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let's do this. Oh, that's pretty. Oh.
Yes. Yes, I died.
You're very good.
Thank you.
Give me your card afterwards, and if I write one next year and we have a dead
Absolutely.
person, I will.
Oh my God.
I'll make you my dead person.
No,
Yeah.
would you?
Absolutely.
I seriously, I would.
Yeah,
I
that's-
kid, but yet actually am
There's a lot
serious.
of there's a lot of life in those eyes for a dead
Thank
person.
you.
Yeah, that's good.
That means the world to me.
Yeah.
I would love to be a dead person.
Yeah, yeah. I make no guarantees, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
No. It's like I'm anything. Well, thank you so much for
Oh my
being
God, my
here.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, this was amazing. I love you. I love Criminal Minds. I love this movie. Kill Me Deadly. Go
Yay!
see it
Go see
at
it.
the Araya,
Go make things and see Kill Me
Lemley
Deadly.
Araya Fine Arts
Yes.
Theater.
Lemley.com.
Opens today, and then
Opens
it'll
today.
be available.
Runs for hopefully more than a week, but right now it only runs for a week. So you have to go.
Yes, go. And then it'll be available nationwide digital VOD platform April 26th.
Yes.
So pretty soon.
Yes.
Very excited.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining
My
me.
pleasure. My
Any-
pleasure.
Before we leave, any upcoming projects or where people can follow you? Find
Yeah,
you?
I'm on at Kirsten Vangsness at Instagram, and I'm at Vangsness on Twitter. And I actually am going to be doing my show Mess at a date to be determined coming soon at Theater of Note. There's a great show at Theater of Note right now called Frazzled. I'm not in it, but it's really good.
But you should be.
Yeah, no, I'm busy. I'm writing things. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you again. And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow the Popcorn Talk everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I've meshed all those two together at the Popcorn Talk. Go check out Kill Me Deadly.
Kill Me
Comedy
Deadly.
film noir. It's brilliant. Thank you, everyone.
There's a postcard for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.